Our C7 cameras putting us right in the thick of the action there, right out in the middle of the MCG. Wayne Carey with the Premiership Cup, and that's what you play for. Great pleasure to introduce Greg Miller, CEO of the Kangaroos. Greg, congratulations. And the job doesn't end, because now you're responsible for looking after your players, and they're actually over there behind me wanting to bag you.
No, that's okay.
Is that all right?
No, they certainly deserve a break from the pressure that both I and Dennis Pagan put on them. And
what about a pay rise, Greg?
I'm sure I'll hear from the managers this week.
Pay rise?
It's an amazing thing that happens in footy now, is that there's so many awards. You know, there's the Rising Star, and there's a Premiership Medallion, the State of Origin selection, and all those things you hear about from the managers now. That's what you do at the end of the season. The whole list. They're experts out, these managers.
Right.
I want to ask you about the coach. Half-time last year, similar situation in front this year, different approach to the coach. Apparently quite strong and very positive about what he wanted from the boys. Can you give us a bit of insight into?
Well, I wasn't in the room, so I stand, but actually in the enclosure. But I know one thing, that half-time last year, when the boys walked in and 28 points up, that there was sort of euphoria in the room that shouldn't have been there at that stage. It was only half-time, and it certainly wasn't evident this year.
How was that allowed to... I mean, like, in retrospect, how was that allowed to happen? I mean, it just sounds like the sort of thing that North would never let happen.
No, you're quite right. It was surprising. It was just a few of the trainers and I guess a few of the staff were a bit...
Are they still there?
Yeah, they're in the back room.
What does Team of the Decade mean to you? I mean, you've ventured into Sydney to try and get more corporate support and get more sponsors, and what does it mean in money terms? Is it going to bring you in $500,000 instantly, or...?
Yeah, it brings in $500,000 this weekend. There's no doubt about that. The prize money's changed. In '96, the prize money was about $200,000. The expenses were about the same. So there was no value, or no immediate value that weekend. But this year they've changed the system. They give you a finals allowance, plus the prize money, plus the weekend's trading was very good. The spin-offs. I think it's interesting to see how Hawthorn have their memberships increased so much in the last few years, and I guess that's a spin-off of their success in the '80s. And I trust that if we get in a situation, perhaps where we're out of the finals in the next decade, then you can rely on the success you've had in the previous decade to make sure your membership stays strong.
Are the expenses still the same? Like, so what is the net profit from a premiership then?
Well, the immediate return's probably about $500,000 this weekend, which was fabulous.
So it gives you a bit of incentive to win it, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it does. I mean, as I say, in '96 that wasn't there.
I'm not so sure about Hawthorn. Hawthorn had the Waverley thing to cling to, and that brought in a lot of other people, not just Hawthorn supporters. That brought in people with a cause. Now, you've been if you're going to be the team of the decade, you seem still to be in a very precarious position for a team that has won 2 premierships in 4 years. Yeah. It's a hard business, isn't it?
Well, I read your article this morning, and I'm not quite in agreement, Patrick, with that. I think we're probably perceived that we're in desperate stakes because some of the moves we make, but they're not necessarily desperate moves. They're initiatives that we do to ensure that we utilise the current crop of players we have and the success we have to build. We've made a profit every year in the last 7 years. Sure. We haven't posted a loss, and we built up small reserves, but we are financially stable. And perhaps, you know, I mean, your article about the importance of Wayne Carey and Dennis Pagan is true, but I think there's also the foundations have been laid for long-term success, which I think can occur.
Just on the coach, Greg, obviously there's now speculation about re-signing, and you know, like you probably want to keep him for about 25 years. Where's it at? When will he sign, and for how long?
Well, he has 1 year of his contract to go, but we certainly don't want to get into a situation that some clubs can afford to have of having a coach coming out of contract in that year. There's too much speculation goes on. That wouldn't be good for our club. So we'll certainly recontract him this year for three more years.
Right. Okay.
Off the field, something happened which I thought was quite distasteful, and it's starting to happen a little bit too regular for mine, and that's Dennis coming down at the break, and that, well, rat bag in the crowd just grabs him by the tie.
Grabbed him by the tie, put a hand on his back, and it shouldn't happen, and really in these days they should be able to do it better. I'm not sure what the solution is, but...
Does Dennis overreact here?
Well, he pulled his tie, and I guess Dennis's emotion, thinking about what's going on, all of a sudden...
Rob said it was his favourite tie.
Yeah,
Will you make a protest to the AFL over that and say this isn't satisfactory, that our coach can walk down and be manhandled like that?
Probably not, Patrick. Probably they've seen the footage enough times themselves to know that something perhaps has to be done. And I'm not sure what the solution is in that regard, because that box is so close to the arena now. They've got to go down. They've got to get down the ground somehow.
Well, we spoke to Dennis and asked him what happened there when he came down to get onto the ground, and he had his tie pulled.
Some peanut grabbed me by the tie and tried to pull me down. And I'll tell you, those MCC blokes are on the job, aren't they? Just looked at him.
You can see the funny side of it. Stan.
Well, I just wanted you to look at this, because if they grab Dennis by the tie, I want to know what they're grabbing the boys by in the shower, CEO. How does that sit with you there, Mr. CEO?
I think it's a fabulous shot. It's probably the best premiership shot I've ever seen.
How long did that take to be posed for? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. Some of the guys could tell you how
Greg,
that occurred.
if your club is so enterprising, why haven't you actually sold off their body parts to sponsors?
Well, I tell you what we have done. We quickly rang the Herald Sun this morning and got hold of that shot, and it'll be available for sale at the club office tomorrow.
Any bordello near you?
Greg, how did you feel personally when the siren blew? Because, you know, you've had your battles with the Kangaroos. It hasn't been easy.
It's been, look, in '96 we went through the merger and trials and tribulations with the AFL, and probably this year, not so much the AFL, they've been supportive of our games in Sydney, but we've had our problems up in Sydney that have been well documented, and so I guess it makes it even sweeter in that little thing, but look, it's just you know, the dreams come true, aren't they?
Well, your coach pointed directly to the AFL, though, didn't he? When he said, we've had our people upstairs don't want us to win.
Yeah. I'm not sure who he was referring to there, Patrick. I actually spoke to him today about that.
The AFL was keen to know who.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He said exactly the same thing in '96 too.
Did he?
Yep,
Yeah,
I looked it up.
Well, probably '96 it had to do with
the merger.
The decision to not go with us with the merger. I mean, they were with us all the way, and they really tantalised us with the opportunity.
Like, is it as much a shot at some of your other club rivals, though? I mean, he was definitely sort of getting to the point that there was a bit of scepticism from other clubs about how North operates, and...
No, I don't think so, Rowan. I think that I certainly don't think it was directed to Wayne Jackson or Ron Evans. It may have been to do with the things that happened in Sydney.
Greg, you'd mentioned before problems with managers about all the different awards. We've got another one. It's the Good Guy Award. There's Peter Bell. He's gone, eh? Watch, have a look at the guy's glasses who's hugging him. Look at them. Now, this is all the excitement's going on. The players run on. Look, there's a bit missing. So he forgets all about that. No, hang on, there it is. I found it for him.
Well, he's a snag.
That is fantastic.
He was actually spotted helping an old woman across Bridge Street after the game as well.
I think that's magnificent. But isn't that wonderful interaction between the supporters and the players, just acknowledging how much they appreciate the supporters being there?
Yeah, there's no doubt.
That is fantastic.
It's interesting, if I can just take the opportunity to say this, Stan, that during the year we're often maligned that we don't go across and wave to our members and do the things that some clubs, and Patrick knows how much Richmond do it.
Well, it's just you can't find yours. That's
Hear that, boys?
Not giving to say.
They've given you the wind-up now.
Anyway, there's one day a year we get a chance to repay them, and it happened in '96, and we had the chance to repay them and thank them all on the weekend.
Yeah. Greg, one of your players, he must take some singing lessons over summer, and that is Corey McKernan. There's only one worse, and that's Steve Kernahan, but Corey McKernan's pretty close to him. Let's have a listen.
Hey, to be honest, it's about as good as the original. It's about as good as the original.
Okay. Greg, thanks for joining us. Look, you're just thrilled, we can tell that. The boys want to know when you're going to buy a new suit.
I've got two now, you know.
This is his new one.
There's a chance for a whip around.
But isn't it true that all the money goes onto the coaches and the players?
Oh, definitely.
You guys
administrators are left behind in that state. There's no doubt about that. Things have really galloped on in the players and the football staff, but the poor administrators left behind a long way.
Okay.
I can't afford to say, I'll try and buy one in Mexico with a
You need a collective bargaining agreement, don't you, you officials?
I'm after Manja. Any ideas, David?
Greg, thanks again, and congratulations to the Kangaroos. A wonderful win, a wonderful